Joining us now for more on the breaking news is Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley. He sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Could not have had a better guest today to talk about these things. First of all, there's two cases that the Supreme Court decided today. The first one was on Obamacare and upholding it 7-2. Little victory lap happening, especially from the White House. If we could pull up a tweet from the Chief of Staff to President Biden, Ron Klain, he says, "It's still a BFD." For anyone that doesn't know what that's referring to, Vice President Joe Biden whispered that into President Obama's ear when he signed the bill. So, Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri, let's get your take on this. What was your feeling about this case from the beginning?
Well, I'm not surprised at the decision today. I think the court has telegraphed that they were likely to head down this route. What happened today was the court decided that there wasn't standing, that the states that sued didn't have standing. I think that's probably a dubious decision. I mean, the court, as Justice Alito points out in dissent, the court has allowed standing in cases like this many other times. So I think that distinction is probably not a well-founded one, but I can't say that I'm surprised by this result.
And so if it doesn't necessarily get to the merits, if repeal and replace might be dead, but from a policy perspective, what do you think Republicans should do on health care?
Well, what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that health care actually can be more affordable to folks and that we cover people with pre-existing conditions, but at the same time allow people more choices in their health care plans, get the cost of health care down. And we've seen that is the absolute pressing need. Healthcare costs are way too expensive. They continue to go up along with inflation and the rest of the economy. So right now, the focus needs to be on getting costs down, on making choice available to more and more Americans while we protect those with pre-existing conditions. And we can do all those things, Dana.
Let me ask you about the makeup of the court. So you were there, I remember, when Amy Coney Barrett was a nominee under President Trump to serve on the Supreme Court. And the Democrats really said that she was going to be the one that would basically end coverage of pre-existing conditions for people. Jonathan Turley, constitutional law professor, was just on our air saying he thought that was unfair then. And if you look at this, she voted to uphold Obamacare.
Yeah, well, she did. She voted not to reach the issue, actually. She voted that there was no standing. And if you listen closely to Justice Barrett during her confirmation hearings, what she said over and over again was she thought that this case, if it did get to the merits, was about the issue of severability. And not to get too technical, Dana, but she basically telegraphed, I thought, during her confirmation hearings that she was not going to vote to strike down all of Obamacare. So again, I am not surprised by this.
Let's talk about religious liberty. Now you go to this case. It was out of Philadelphia where a Catholic charity was saying that it would against their principles in order to have LGBT couples be foster parents. The court ruling 9-0 in favor of religious liberty in this case. Let's get your thoughts on that.
Now, this is a resounding pro-religious liberty decision. This is a really good result when it comes to churches, synagogues, other houses of worship across the country. Here's the bottom line. The court said you cannot allow secular institutions to have all kinds of exemptions and then say to a religious institution, if you want to follow your own religious beliefs, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't give exemptions for secular groups and treat them one way and then say to the religious group, oh, no, unless you do exactly as we say, you can't participate. So this is a great non-discrimination ruling. What they're saying is you cannot discriminate against churches on the basis of their faith. This is a big victory for religious liberty.
So actually, maybe put this in context for us, because this case was dealing with just this issue in Philadelphia for that particular group. But how broad is this?
Well, I think the principle is really broad. The principle is no discrimination, no religious discrimination. And the court is saying that they're going to look really closely anytime a government entity like a city says that, oh, well, a church is going to be treated differently. A church is going to be disfavored because of its religious beliefs. And here, Catholic Charities, they said, no, you can't discriminate against them basically because they're Catholic. I mean, you can't do that. You've got to treat them the same as everybody else. It's a good result.
Fascinating. Senator Josh Hawley, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.